So all I did was I prepared a snout for no particular animal. And what I'm going to do is cut an opening straight across. That's all, it's just an opening. I mean, it's just a slit right now. And if I squeeze in the edges, the outer edges, it opens. And I can go ahead and soften the sharpness of that cut mark. Whenever you make a slice with a knife into clay, where the knife ends is kind of the beginning of a crack wanting to form. So it's kind of good to get in there and compress that joint, what has now become a joint, so that you don't go to all this trouble of forming a mouth and then have the whole thing crack. If I'm going to add some fullness to the two upper areas of the lip, I might as well wait until after the teeth are in, because teeth aren't the outermost thing, the lip is the outermost thing. So if you put the teeth in and then you just cover them slightly with a coil, then that would look a little more realistic. So what I'm going to do now is a magic trick. It's the simplest little thing to make the teeth. And you just need a very, very soft, very small little slip of a worm of a coil. So I just wet this little scrap of clay. I just put some water on it, reconstituting it, and then I'm going to roll it into a coil that's tapered on both ends. And I'm just laying it in there. And I'm just tacking it up just gently. I'm looking for my flattest, skinniest tool, which happens to be my knife. I don't want to use it as a knife, but just as a support to push that bit up. Now I go back to my cheap brush, get the water out of it, and it's going to be fine, just like that. Because remember, we're going to put a bit of a lip over there. And you can do the same thing down below, but let's just start with this. So what I'm going to do is take my knife, this really skinny knife, and I'm going to cut lines for teeth. I'm going to center that first line right underneath the center of the nostrils. So it looks fairly realistic. And then I'm just going to keep going. Just this little bit of articulation is so helpful. Even if you obscure most of it with the coil that you put for a lip, even if you obscure most of the teeth, that's even better, because in real life, it doesn't do that. Like, it doesn't have that whole full mouth of teeth. You just see a bit of it. So now I'm going to just go in and make an upper lip. I'm making two halves, two long, beefy in the middle, tapered on the ends, the edges. It's just a little slip of clay like that. There's a coil that I flattened. I'm going to allow that to become this upper lip. And then you end up covering some of the teeth. So do the other side. And, I will spend some time working in all those edges, but you get the general idea here. And you can do the same on the lower, or you can just go ahead and put the tongue on, which I think I'll do. I'll put the tongue in so you can see how on this goat that we're working on, I did put the lower teeth in, and you saw that in the close-up, because the tongue is kind of sticking straight out, like, eh. But this guy's going to be like, so the lower teeth in any event would be applied in the same exact way as those upper teeth. So a tongue is just a flattened little wad of clay. It can be as big or as small as you see fit. So you really don't need very much behind it. It just has to attach in there. And there's not a whole lot of room. So I just tacked it in there, and I could make it skinnier so that it can insert a little bit more, which I think I'll do. Flatter and skinnier. I did just put it in there and leave it there, and it's probably actually sufficient. By the time I get the slip on there and the glaze, it's not going anywhere. But if you wanted to have a longer tail on the end of the tongue that you could then take your finger, go into the back, and smush down, that'll connect it and attach it. But it's not going to go anywhere. So that is your demonstration of an open mouth with teeth and a tongue.